Shall we pray?
Our Heavenly Father, God Almighty, we humbly come before you this morning with heart full of thanksgiving. Heavenly Father, we thank you that you have been with us till now, since we last met. We thank you, Lord God Almighty. We thank you that you have enabled us, or some of us who are here now, all of us who are here now, to reach here. And we pray that even those on the way, you bring them safely here. We give you thanks, Heavenly Father. So, Lord God Almighty, we're going to meet, the desires of our hearts and what we're going to pray for. Heavenly Father, be with us and hear us, and hear everyone's desire, and Amref's desire in particular. Heavenly Father, we give you glory. We thank you. It is you who gave human beings wisdom to form that Amref. And you know what Amref has done till today. Treating patients out there, training health workers out there, doing everything, Heavenly Father. We give you thanks. Even getting patients who can't walk, who can't be in the cars on the flight to take them to the hospitals, or treating them there. Heavenly Father, we thank you. So we are going to meet, be with us, give us wisdom to discuss what we are going to talk about, and to see what we can do even better, and be with those who are on the way, bring them safely here, and we give the honor and the glory are yours. We thank you. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much for that powerful prayer. We are requesting order, please. Order, please, so that we can begin our program. We say thank you very much for that very powerful prayer. And as you know, we're supposed to have begun at 9:30, but it's already after 10. So we feel that it's important that it's now 10:23, so it's almost 1 hour that has, since we were supposed to have begun our meeting. Before we begin with the official program, we wanted to have a minute of silence for those of us in the AAA who may have left us, particularly since the last meeting, AGM last year, as well as those who may be ailing in hospitals. And I think, Nikki, you want to take that role of, you needed to light a candle or something? Or she's going to light a candle. So we want to give them that time, that is, have a minute of silence for those who have departed, the departed ones, and those who are suffering in hospitals, those who are part of us. So we'll give that to Pamela, and then we can begin with our official program. Light it, I think. Yes. Otherwise, now that we have given that space to those who have departed and those who are ailing, I think we'll begin our official program. As you'll notice, we were supposed to have been 5 officials. Unfortunately, our chairman was not going to be able to attend due to some unavoidable circumstances. And so he actually apologized for that. But we are here. There is myself, there is Pamela, and Koki has just come in, and we have our sister here. She has also come in. So I suppose we are, 4 of us out of 5. That's a good number. So we'll begin with a program, and I think we can have it on the screen so that we go through it. We see what we're supposed to do for the remaining period of time that we have. Oh, each one of you has a program. Okay, thank you. So as you can see, we have number 1, that is between 9:30, what was supposed to have been there, to 11:30. Number 1, we have already done away with welcome and introductions. And we had number 1, adoption of the agenda. And number 2, confirmation of the minutes of the last AGM held on the 30th of October 2021. And then matters arising. Chairmans, we also present to you the chairman's report for the last 1 year. We also present to you the treasurer's report. And then we will also have approval of the proposed budget for the year 2022-2023. We'll also have you to give us the okay to scout and appoint auditors. We also have approval of a proposal to put membership funds in an investment account, and then any other business that is for the morning session. And then the second session for plenary, we'll have a briefing by the AMU Vice Chancellor, Professor Joachim Osur. And we also have a briefing on Amref Health Africa by one Jonathan Dutton, and a presentation on member and guest presentations. And then we'll also have the social welfare update. And after lunch, we'll have some bit of entertainment. We'll break into 3 teams. And then we shall have an archive photo challenge, sharing experiences so far in Amref Alumni Association. And then we also try to get expectations from the members about what they expect the Amref Alumni to do for them, because this is your association. And then we also have future topics for guest presenters. What do you suggest that should be the topics for the guest speakers in the future? And I think I see down there is also a birthday celebration. I don't know whose birthday. Whose birthday are we celebrating, Pam? Pamela? Whose birthday is it that we are celebrating? And she's not here. So anybody whose birthday happens to have been in October? November? Nobody was born in November here. Eh? October? Okay. All right. Right, so that one then we are going to strike that out. And then after that, we wrap up our meeting and we close the meeting. So that is our program today. And from there, I think we'll begin with the confirmation of the meetings of the first AGM last year. Confirmation of minutes? Yes. Oh, she's setting up. Okay. We'll give you some. Yeah? I'm advised that before I begin reading the minutes, we, the officials of the AA who are present, could present themselves to you. And I think they can also, you people can also tell us who you are, although we may be knowing most of you, but there are some we may not actually know. So I think the officials can present themselves so that we can begin. Yeah, you introduce yourself.
Still morning. Good morning, all, everyone. It's really, really nice to see everybody after such a long time. Pleased, and I think this is the highlight of the AGM, is really to meet and fellowship with each other. And as we introduce ourselves, I would like each one of you to say what you are doing right now with yourself. Some of you are doing things which are useful to, which we could use for Amref presentations, member presentations. So just tell us what you're doing right now, and and let us know how you are. So I will start with myself and pass on the baton. Pamela Rasugu. In Amref, I was mainly known as Pamela Sakwa, and I have refused to retire, so I'm still actively employed with an advertising company called Red House Group. So we do advertising and public relations, and that's where I am at right now. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Koki Muli-Kinagwi. I'm the secretary, and apologies for coming in late. I had a doctor's appointment first, which I needed to see, but I'm here now. I work with the University of California, San Francisco. I'm the country director there, and we are, in the public health space, and I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have another official who is seated behind here.
I'm Violet Tamu Viga. I used to work in Amref many years ago, maybe before some of you were born. Yes. I am, what do I do? I am a psychosocial support professional. I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm in private practice. At my center, I do both training and support to individuals, couples, families. I prepare people for marriage. I also help people to sort out their marriages. I also help them to dissolve amicably if they must. And then I also support schools, churches, and different communities across the country and anywhere else I'm called. On the Amref Alumni, I am the chairperson of the Social Welfare Committee. I'm a mother and a grandmother of 2 lovely babies.
Thank you very much. And my name is Anthony Kamau. I'm sure, I think I know almost all of you except maybe 1 or 2 persons here. I'm a member, an official of the Amref Association. I don't hold any portfolio, but I'm just one of the officials. Currently, what I do is I do monitoring and evaluation consultancies around the country, and that's what I do for a living now. Thank you. So it is my pleasure to present to you the minutes of the first Amref Alumni Association meeting, which took place on the 30th of October at the Amref, the same place that we are in. And so I'll present it to you. Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm reminded that again, that members were supposed also to maybe just say who they are particularly the members who are around, before we can go to the presentation. Maybe we can begin with the gentleman here.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Okutoy, and I used to belong to those cheeky young people you used to see running in your offices called Ungana. Yeah, I can see some people nodding like they remember our faces. From Ungana, I joined the media world. So for the last 5 years, I've been working at CAS Media, the vernacular Kalenjin radio and TV station. Thank you.
I'm Nikki, and it's lovely to see you all. Welcome, welcome. And I hate to tell you, but this is my 50th year association with Amref. And I'm working with the AMU, which I really enjoy doing, and I'm working on the Amref book, which you'll hear more about later.
Hello, good morning. My name is Ben Osuga. I used to work with Pamela in community health. Basically, I was based in Kibwezi for many years. Thank you. Independent consultant in community health and social policy. I also teach part-time at universities, wherever I get.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Isabel Mbugwa. I think I worked for Amref for so long, and I worked with Nikki and Nancy in the communications department, and I had a little side program that took me to Kibwezi, so I got to know all the Kibwezi people. At the moment, I am a dairy farmer, but in the process of aging, you also get into care. I know the last time care was a topic, but when you are getting older, one of you is going to be taking care of the other. So that's what I'm doing.
Morning, everyone. My name's Peter Kisaka. I used to work for FDSA, Flying Doctors Society of Africa. That was a small organization within Amref which was raising funds for the Flying Doctor Service. Currently, I'm in Western. I'm doing some farming, dairy farming, and beekeeping. So if somebody is interested in honey, please consult me. Thank you. God bless you.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Don Kasule. I was in administration, but there was a unit called Supplies Unit. I was one of the officers in Supplies Unit. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm a logistician, but I do now freight consultancy. So that is what I'm doing. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to see many of you after so many years. I worked in Amref for 30 years. It's my first and only job. I left about 5 years ago. For many years, I was the PA to the country director. Thereafter, we set up the knowledge management with Nikki and Bethwell. When I left Amref, I got a job in the US, and I came back last year when I lost my husband, so I haven't done anything. I'm resting. Yeah.
Yes, good morning. I am Dr. Mudhoni Kariuki. At Amref, I used to be in health systems management and planning, all those things, supporting the ministries of health to improve their health systems. Then when I left, I went to work with Johns Hopkins. I became the country director at Tanzania. Then I came back, became a country director in another organization called Catholic Medical Mission Board. And then I retired, but I'm not tired. So I still do a few consultancies, but I'm mostly doing personal things with the family. I like farming too. And I am really, really interested in taking care of the old people because I get called, and I have registered a small organization that will be taking care of the old people. So anybody who wants to work in that area, like I'm talking to Ruth Zile, and it's really a needed thing. There are so many old people, sick people in their families, and they don't know what to do, and they're not getting good care. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie Karangwanduba. I worked in Amref for over 10 years. And I was in the training department, and we were training people, starting with health workers. In fact, that's when we started. When I was in Amref, we found out that health workers, many of them who are running dispensaries and health centers, were not trained really. So we said, let's train them to do what they do better. So that's how we started to training health workers. And I worked there for over 10 years, anyway, more. And I was retrenched eventually. When, I'm sorry to say, when the Wazungu went and Africans started, many of them were trying to bring their relatives rather than making use those who were doing the work. And somehow, that's how I was retrenched. But they continued to call me for consultancies until the big boss said, why did we retrench her? If you needed her, you can't recall her again. And that's how I stopped completely. Yeah. Anything else I should say? No. God bless you all.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Margaret Modeshi. I worked for Amref for 22 years. I left about 15 years ago. I was in the, I don't know what you call these days, in the chief executive's office, and worked with about 4 of the chief executives. I was their PA. After leaving Amref, I went to do mostly business. I've been in hospitality. I'm farming sugar. I've done maize. And then through life, I've been involved in care. So for those who are doing care of the sick, the old, I think I have some personal experience. So I'm very happy to see most of these people. I've not been around Amref since I left in 2008. But I'm happy to see many faces. Those are forgotten names, but I've not forgotten the faces. Thank you. You have already done.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Willie Gekaru. I worked in Amref for 10 years, and I left only 20 years ago. I used to work in the distance education, where I was doing production of radio programs, and eventually having them broadcast over Voice of Kenya and Citizen. And I worked with Stephanie Duba, who was my boss. And what I am doing at the moment, with the exception of a few things, is exactly what I was doing in Amref. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. I'm Opondo here. I worked for Amref 11 years. I left in 2014. While at Amref, I started off at Community Health Support Unit, CBHC, and then joined Dr. Mudhoni at Health Systems Reforms for a few months or so before joining Nomadic. And then I finished off while in clinical. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to see everybody who has come in. I assist the committee also in the alumni. Thank you very much.
Morning, everyone. I'm Victoria Kimodo. I worked for Amref for 20 years. I had started in Tanzania, in Mwanza, and then I moved to HQ, and I think I stopped in 2017. Is that always right? Oh, and I've been working with universities, so I work with about 40 universities across the world. And my role mostly is in recruitment and school engagement.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm not yet an alumni, but I do support. My name is Bethwell Bugua. I've been here since 2004, so I'm still accumulating the mileage, and I don't know when I'll be part of the group, but I'm thinking I will transition in pretty smoothly after I leave Amref. And it's good to see everybody whom I have not seen for quite some time. So you're welcome. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Mary Kirago. I worked at the Heritage and Special Events with Nikki. And then I later on joined fundraising. I left in 2016. Currently, I am doing consultancy in events coordination as well as documentation. But I'm also a businesswoman. And I run 2 guest houses in Naivasha. So should you be in that area and you're needing accommodation, please let's talk. It's called Lunar Light Guest House. We are on bookings.com as well as Airbnb. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dina Karuitha. I work with Nikki at the headquarters as a research assistant for the book project. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Beth Nyambura. I worked at information and fundraising with Nikki and Isabel. Currently, I work for Safaricom in customer service.
Thank you very much for your introductions. Now I will go through the minutes for the first Amref Alumni Association Annual General Meeting. And the purpose of reading through these minutes is for purposes of confirmation from the members. The agenda for the first alumni was first to welcome and introductions, a breakout session in decade groups, which was done, and a briefing by a representative of AMIU, presentations from AA members, and presentation of the draft constitution and approval. And then there was a subcommittee breakout session and any other business. So minute 1 of 2021 The minute was called to order by the Master of Ceremonies, who was Dr. Mudhoni Kariuki, and she opened with a word of prayer. And minute 2 was the Master of Ceremonies welcomed all the members who attended the meeting, and she gave a brief history of how the Alumni Association came to be and introduced the steering committee and the core group members who were present. Minute 3, there was a breakout session in decade groups. That is, in decade groups is when people worked in Amref. And the members present then broke into 2 groups. That is the 1970s to 1980s and the 1990s to the 2020s, where they each introduced themselves and shared their time in Amref, what they were involved in and what they are currently doing, just like we have just done. And minute 4, there was a briefing by representatives of AMIU, and AA members were welcomed by the Vice Chancellor of AMIU, Professor Joachim Usur, who also gave apologies from the Amref Group CEO, who was not able to join the meeting. And in his speech, he mentioned the following. 1, that AA members had spent a good part of their lives building Amref, and hence the nostalgia of what they all contributed to and supported in Amref. He also acknowledged that alumni associations are very important, and keeping in touch with Amref helps in following up on whether what we contributed is still there. It is our legacy, and it is great to know that how we spent our productive working lives is impacting the future and still going on. Excuse me. He acknowledged that working for Amref is a movement beyond just being employed. It is a concept on health in communities, and alumni add fuel to that movement which aims at having better health in Africa. It is possible to still have an impact even when not current employees of Amref. And number 3, there exist several opportunities for AA members to support AMIU by sharing our knowledge and experiences with the students. And he added that this will help integrate book learning with actual experiences from the field by being mentors to the students. There are opportunities for part-time faculty which can be explored further. He also talked about offering mentorship of students in research, and AAA alumni can supervise students and help them conduct good and useful research. He added about supporting the revision of the old Amref books and manuals which are now outdated, providing opportunities for attachment and internships for the students, providing support for the students. Many of them come from poor and marginalized communities that Amref works in, and so they are not able to adequately cater for their education. There is need for scholarships to help cater for their university fees, as well as support with laptops, tablets, or even smartphones to enable them attend their lessons as needed, as AMU uses an integrated model of physical and online lessons. Minute 5 is this is about presentations from AAA members. And 3 AAA members made presentations on what they had been doing since they left Amref. The first one was Vitalis Were, who shared about advocacy in disability and informed members of the 2 books he has written. He also challenged AMIU to introduce disability studies in their curriculum. And the second presenter was Douglas Lucky, and he shared about cancer advocacy and how he has been supporting cancer advocacy efforts at county level. The third presenter was Nikki Blandel, who shared about the Amref book that is currently being put together and documents its history from the beginning. It aims to show the mark that Amref has left in health and its footprint in Africa. Minute number 6 is that was a presentation of the draft constitution, and members were taken through the draft constitution by the secretary, Dr. Koki Kinagwe, and 2 amendments were proposed as follows: to include the words "and or" in the listing of the draft thematic areas that the members represent. That was part 6.1, and deletion of the numbering that is not deleted in 6 other bullet 2. The adoption of the constitution was proposed by Matthias Amake and seconded by Fitale Zwere. Thereafter, the 3 steering committee members present signed the constitution in the presence of the members. That is the chair, Peter Morogo, secretary Koki Kinagwe, and member Anthony Kamau. Minute number 7, that was the subcommittee breakup sessions. The secretary introduced the 3 subcommittees that are in place, with members being invited to join their subcommittee of interest for a breakfast session to brainstorm of potential areas of focus. Karaja Bogwa gave a presentation on what the core team and steering committee have been thinking about the social welfare fund. Members thereafter gave feedback from their sessions as detailed below. The social welfare subcommittee. Establishment of a social welfare fund to support members is important. The modalities would need to be worked on regarding the payment to be made, the beneficiaries, whether an insurance cover should be obtained or payments would be made from the kitty. And then part 3, additional members were co-opted into this committee to brainstorm further and communicate to members with a clear proposal on the way forward. These members were Steve Mogwongo, Anno Pondo, Grace Gatebi, and Emma Matano. The networking and event subcommittee, there was need. Point number 1, there was a need for regular engagements among members. This will enable people what others are doing, know what others are doing, as well as inviting guest speakers on topics of interest. And engagements can be either virtual or physical. Bullet 2, holding an annual get-together, but avoid towards the end of the year due to many competing engagements. Bullet 3, organization of social events around global days of significance to the members. Bullet 4, Amref celebrates 65 years next year, that is now this year, and so it was proposed that members should start to think of how we can participate in it, reaching out to professional bodies to see how we can work with them and also benefit from them. An establishment of support groups for specific issues of interest to the members. And then the collaboration and Amref Health Africa with Amref International University. Bullet 1, students need to identify areas with gaps that they would need support from the AAA members so that we can help in a structured and useful way. And AAA members can publicize a meal within our networks. Regarding scholarships and sponsorships, a meal would need to give details of areas they need assistance so that AAA members can see how best to support. And giving opportunities for attachment of students so that they can have practical experience and exposure. A meal would need to provide details of areas of interest for attachment to AAA. and provision of lectures in various subject areas of interest to the students as well as journal clubs, supporting the revision of training materials for students, as well as supporting curriculum review as needed by AMU. And linking AMU to other universities in the West to create more opportunities for learning and collaboration. And minute 8 in the last was AOB or any other business. And members marked a moment of silence in remembrance of all the former Amref colleagues. Registration process would be able to proceed smoothly. He also appreciated Amref Health Africa and Amref International University leadership for their support towards the association, as well as for the AMU allocating a space for AAA to be able to operate from. He promised the members that the steering committee would try to engage them as much as possible and keep them updated. And there being no other business, the meeting ended at 4:55 p.m. with a prayer from none other than Madam Joyce Naisho. And so those were the minutes for last year's AGM. And like I said earlier, the purpose of reading them out was for confirmation from the members. Can you confirm them, or is there any objection to any of the minutes? Members? You confirm them? Anybody who has any objection to any of the minutes about the proceedings, or we now confirm them and adopt them? All right? Yeah? And can we get a seconder? Dr. Kariuki was the first to put her. Okay. Very good. I think we can go on to the next one according to the program. We got to. Yes. Okay. Any issues that you'd want to? Any issues that you'd want to raise concerning those minutes? If there are no issues, then I think we will present to you the chairman's report. Is short, so it won't take long. It's just a one-page report. chairman's report, and I said earlier, he is not going to be able to be with us today because of unavoidable circumstances. And he begins by saying it is his pleasure to welcome you to the Amref Alumni Association annual general meeting. And he says he appreciates the participation in this meeting today. In addition, we also welcome all the members who may follow us online. During the last annual general meeting, members elected a steering committee for a 3-year period, and the steering committee comprised of Dr. Koki Kinagwe as the secretary, Pamela Rasugo as the treasurer, and Violet Thiga and Anthony Kamau as members with Mr. Morogo as the chairman. And then over the last 1 year, the steering committee worked through 2 subcommittees, namely the welfare and the social events and networking committees. The chairman has also been working closely with the initial core group that worked towards the establishment of the Amref Alumni Association, namely Dr. Karaja Bugwa, Anno Pondo, Douglas Lucky, Nikki Blandel, Stephen Mugwongo, Fred Kiluva, Grace Gatevi, and Dr. Muthoni Kariuki. The year 22 was mainly a startup year for the association. Immediately after our first AGM last year, we embarked on the process of formalizing the registration of the association with the relevant government institutions. The process involved customizing our approved constitution to fit the approved government template for the registration of the association. Unfortunately, the registration process took long. The association was eventually processed in late February this year. And I wish to inform all members that now we are duly registered. We are required to pay the annual subscription of 500 shillings after the initial payment of registration of 1,000. We therefore request that all members begin to pay up their subscription dues for the year 2022-2023. I hope that is clear. That is, the initial registration is 1,000 elfu moja wakati wa kujiandikisha. Alafu kila mwaka, kila mwanachama anatoa 500. That is annual subscription. Now, upon assuming office, our team developed a calendar of events which included regular presentations facilitated by AA members and other invited guests, participating in events organized by Amref International University. To this end, we were able to have presentations on elderly care and mental health and well-being on campus so far. During the last AGM, the Vice Chancellor expressed his desire for a meal to work closely with the alumni so that the university benefits from the wealth of experience of members in community health. We have since continued the collaboration to collaborate with AMU, and some of the alumni teach at the university. The committee sent and meetings. I hope at this meeting today, members will deliberate on how we can improve attendance to our events. During the last AGM, members expressed interest in the establishment of a mechanism to support members in times of need. The Welfare Committee is finalizing arrangements for a last respect insurance cover for members who have expressed interest and submitted details. We are also seeking your approval as members of the steering committee to put the association's surplus membership funds in an investment account for better returns. Members continue to contribute to support each other on need-by-need basis. In conclusion, I would like to thank the members for their support throughout the year and for turning up for this AGM. We are looking forward to your continued support in the coming year. And he ends by saying, thank you. So that is the chairman's report. I think I'll hand over to the treasurer to give the treasurer's present to you the treasurer's report.
Again, and thank you, Anthony, for the previous presentations. So here to give you the treasurer's report, which I think everybody has a copy. No? You don't have? They were, oh, okay, WhatsApp has the first version of the treasurer's report. There were some of the, you can't hear? Okay. Okay. Hello, is that better? Okay. So, thank you very much. Here to present the treasurer's report for the year 2021, October 2021 to October 2022. Dear members, I greet you all and welcome you to this year's AGM. It is my honor to present to you the account of the year October 2021 to 2022. In the year under review, the association continued to register good financial performance and organic growth. However, the association's revenue is low even though expenses are kept to the minimum. We can only improve this by committing to pay our annual subscriptions. Income. The association's income is from member subscriptions. The total number of members during the year under review was 151, so we had 151,000. In total, the association's income from subscriptions amounted to 151,000. This was boosted further by 40,981 from members who voluntarily contributed towards the cost of the first AGM reunion, bringing the total to 191,981,000. The association did not have any other source of income. Expenditure. We are grateful to report that the collaboration with AMIU has minimized our running costs tremendously. This is because our scheduled meetings and presentations are held at the AMU meeting rooms and auditoriums free of charge. The steering committee and related subcommittees also carry out their alumni businesses pro bono. Expenses incurred during the year under review are as follows. For the major expenses were actually for the alumni AGM and reunion and for the registration of the alumni. So the cost of the refreshments at last year's AGM was 45,000. The cost of the public address system was 7,000. Facebook and live streaming plus photography was 13,000. We had our friends, the volunteers from the university students, we gave them a token of appreciation of 2,500. At that time we had COVID, so we bought hand soap and sanitizers for around 1,000. The celebration cake at that year was a donation, as well as the music by Martin. So the total we spent for the AGM was 68,500. And then we moved to the registration. We had to move from myself, the chairperson, let's say the committee, we had to move the documents around for signature and all. So we had courier for signing constitution on several occasions. One time it was 2,128. Another time it was 1,028. And then the registration fees was 5,000. Transport for various things totaled 1,834. We had to facilitate to push the registration because we were having some difficulties, and that cost us 5,000. Confirmation of the office bearers and a letter to the AG cost us 800. And that was basically what the cost of the registration was. Then the presentation by members, one of the presentations we had to use a PA system because we had a professional and many people, and it cost us 7,000. And then transport for one of the presenters cost us 1,200. So the total of registration and the one of the presentations was 23,990. That coming from a total of 90,981, we had, wow, okay, I can't divide that, you'll see it in the report. But all the invoices for payments were approved by the executive committee and they are on file. As of now, we do not have an auditor, but this meeting will help us to identify whether any of the alumni is running an audit business, or float names for an auditor whom we shall then go through and have one to look at our accounts for the next year. As at August 2022, the association's funds were held at ICA account 115 with a business number. The amount in the ICA accounts during the period under review was 101,000 in the registration subscriptions account and 175,000 in the welfare account. The steering committee later on this year opened an account, 2 accounts at the Equity Bank in Westlands branch. That was in August 2022. And the funds now which were in the ICA accounts were transferred to these 2 accounts. And the accounts are being operated as per constitution with all the 3, the chairman, secretary, and treasurer to sign. And for the welfare account, we also have Anne Opondo, who is a member of the welfare account, to sign. At the time of preparing this report, the funds in the welfare bank account stood still at 175. The funds in the main accounts were at 101, plus 27,000 from the members who have been contributing the 750 as of yesterday. And from this amount in the registration account is where we are getting the cost of this meeting. So we cannot really report the balance as of now. And the notes, as I've said before, the committee has not yet appointed an auditor, and we request the AGM to approve the search and recruitment of an auditor for the association. We therefore do not have a management letter or audited financial statements to present at this AGM. The Amref Alumni Association would like to extend a big thank you to the Amref International University for their continuing support to enable the alumni to carry out their activities at the university's facilities free of charge. What makes Amref Alumni possible is the amazing and dedicated members, and I'm honored to be part of that team. Thank you. Before I close, I would like to present the budget for 2022-2023 for your approval. Please note that the income streams for the alumni are just the annual subscriptions, but the committee for networking came up with the idea to have merchandise so that it can at least add on to our income. And soon will be shown, we have thought of calendars, hoodies, and pens, which members can purchase. If they agree from this meeting, we can have them printed and members can purchase, and that will boost our income. For now, the budget stands as for cost of administration and communication, we are budgeting 20,000 shillings. For AGM and refreshments for the next AGM, we are budgeting at 100,000. Facebook streaming and photography, we are budgeting at 30,000. A celebration cake, we budget for 10,000. Student volunteers and any assistance, we are budgeting for 10,000. Entertainment, we budget for 10,000. And auditors' fees, we have budgeted at 10,000. And the cost of printing merchandise is at 100,000. So our total budget for 2023 stands at 290,000 shillings. So yeah, that is all from the treasurer, and we would like you to approve the budget or comment on it, and also the appointment of auditors. Thank you. As I said, if any member here has notes of an auditor, we'd like to take those names down, but that can be done late. You can just give us the names, and then we'll get quotations and put them on WhatsApp, and we'll have everybody know what's going on. As of now, even the notes on the treasurer's report are on WhatsApp. I think Anne is trying to put everything on WhatsApp because we had a technical hitch, so we cannot project anything. Thank you.
Members, I'm back. Now, the reason why I'm back is because the committee is seeking your approval to put the membership funds in an investment account. And we cannot do it without your approval. So it is for that reason that we want a proposer and a seconder so that we put those funds in an investment account. For that reason, can we get a proposer, please? That is, first, do we agree that we need to put those funds in an investment account? Do we agree? Instead of the funds lying in an account, not earning anything, if the funds are put in an investment account, definitely there will be growth. But without that, do we agree? Okay, if there is consensus, then we are looking for a proposer and a seconder so that we can move on. Remember, this is your association. Yes, we have Ben Osuga. Yes. A seconder. This young man here, Peter Kisaka. Okay, and we are done. The budget? Do we also have a seconder, proposer and a seconder? Okay, I'm reminded here by our able treasurer that we also need to have a proposer for the budget approval and a seconder as well. And those who have already done it, we can actually request that they put their hands down so that we get. So can we get a proposer, please? Oh, she has, okay. Nikki and the seconder. And if we don't get a seconder, if I look at you, you can be sure that you... Oh, we have one, seconder. Yes. Thank you very much for your cooperation. And according to our program, we had an item for any other business. And do we really have any other business for the issues, for what we have already covered? Do we have anything that you'd want us to address that has not been adequately addressed so far? Nikki, you're looking at me in a manner to suggest that there is something. Anything? We have? Okay. There being no other business so far, I think then we can break for tea. Yeah? We do? We close the part of the meeting. Okay, and then we break for tea. Right. So there being anything else, then we close this session and we break for tea. How long is the tea break? 11:45. We should be back, please. And since we are in the rainy season, let's observe time so that we will be able to end on time. All right, 15 minutes for tea, and then we'll be back at 11:45. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
host here today. And karibu sana, Prof.
Thank you.
A bit, oh, we are
Oh.
two behind, eh?
But this.
Some manpower? Manpower?
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Oh, it's up. Is it afternoon? Okay. How are you? You sound like the morning has been stressful. Discussing business, eh? I hope they didn't agree on a very high membership fee. Yeah? When you see people sad, you don't know what was agreed on. But I hope you are okay. Are you fine? People are so quiet, I'm wondering. Or our university is not treating you well? You are okay, you are happy? Okay, good to know. And I want to thank you first for choosing this venue. You know, you had the option of going to Amref HQ, where Jonathan comes from, Amref KCO, Amref AFD, you know, you had all those options, yeah? Or even hiring a hotel, because I know you are able to. But you chose to come to our university. So we find it a privilege. And also, right from the beginning, I think you've always wanted to be part of our community, and we appreciate that. So thank you very much for that. Recently, in the TV, there was a first-class engineering graduate who was featured, who is jobless. I don't know whether any of you saw that. Yeah, he went through the University of Nairobi and did very well. I think it is electrical engineering, which is a very difficult course. And he got a first class. And then he went looking for a job he didn't get. He got frustrated and went back to help his mother in the village to do farming. And I don't know how the journalists, no, he did something in social media, and then the journalists took it up. And what he was saying is that this degree is useless. It has not helped me. I'm back in the village helping my mother to do farming. I wish I had started doing this earlier instead of going to the university. Yeah? And what I learned from that is that getting the degree is the easier part. It's very easy to get a degree. You just need to read or listen to a teacher and then reproduce exams. The harder part is to become successful in life, because a degree is not equal to being successful in life. And what I've seen is that those who become successful always have a shoulder to stand on. You know, they always have someone to help them through before they can say, I am making it in life. It's very hard to do it alone with your degree. So when Nikki started this idea, plus the other colleagues here started this idea of AAA, I said that this is the best thing that can happen to a university. Having a group of people who can talk to our students, mentor them, show them what life is about, so that with their degree, they develop a culture that will make them succeed in life. That was, for me, very timely, and we've been talking and asking how can we do it best. We've had people come to give guest lectures. Students have been asking, can I get a mentor? And we say AAA is a group of professionals who can mentor you. Some people leave university, they can't even write a CV. They can't face a job interview. They don't know anyone to talk to help them with these things.
And so we see AAA as a very key component of our university work to make our students succeed. A university is judged by how many of its graduates, the proportion of the graduates who finally end up with a job. That is how we judge a university. Yeah? So if you have a child who wants to go to a university, you should always ask the graduates from there, do they get employed? Do they come out ready to work? Do they have jobs? Or they come out and they're like our engineering student. Now for people to come out and be able to work, apart from the degree, there is something more, and that is the thing that you bring into the community. And so I want to reiterate that as management, we've talked about AAA. We have discussed it again and again, and we've said we should work more closely to mentor our students to come out ready to work, to feel that they have a shoulder to stand on. Because even when they graduate, the mentoring does not end there. They still need people to talk to. And so the network you provide is so important for our success. The challenge has been how best can we do it? How can we connect you with students? How can you be part of what we do? And I hope you've discussed some of that. We are ready to work with you and make it succeed. We actually feel privileged that we are able to do that. The other thing is, I know we are many Kenyans who are going through Amref. I will join you at one point, Jonathan will, and others who are still working here. But the community is bigger out there. There are people in the US, in UK, in Zambia. How can we build a bigger community, a virtual community of AAA, so that our students who are coming from those places can also benefit? Right now we have about 1,500 students, but the ones who come to campus regularly are just about 400. So more than a third are out there. And we've said that we want them to similarly enjoy the privileges that the ones who come to campus enjoy. So if you have a bigger AAA that has people out there, we can connect them so that our virtual students also have a chance to benefit. And so I hope in your AGM, those are some of the things that you have discussed. There are so many. Recently, I was in the US and I met a former colleague that Nikki introduced me to. And the moment we started talking, he was so emotional about it. He was asking, why have you people shut me out? I want to still contribute. How can I get involved? You know? And so, okay, the plane is passing. Yeah, and so people want opportunity to continue contributing to the movement of Amref. I think once you've come to Amref and you've realized what we contribute to the world, you want to continue doing it. And so you are providing that opportunity. Please, let's open it up. Let's mobilize whatever we can do to bring in others from other places and also within Kenya. Let's do it. We in the university need to have a bigger team of AAA because we are growing. We are now 1,500. You can imagine if we were to give you, each of you, to attach you to students. I don't know what the number of the members is now, but maybe you will be overwhelmed because you might be attached to many students. But if we grow the AAA and bring in other people, then we can make it work more easily. So I don't have much more than that to say, but just to say we are grateful and happy to work with you. I want to invite Jonathan. So the university has a system. So we have management and we have a council. A council is the board of the university, and Jonathan is one of our board members. they provide direction, policy, strategy direction. So he can come and say, what the VC has said is okay, but we want it this way, yeah? So Jonathan, please welcome. Thank you for always creating time to join. I think it's a sacrifice, and you are foresighted because we will soon be members, so we can as well start contributing. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much. Is somebody going to turn this on for me? Oh, you want to project? Yeah. It's all right, she'll do it. While the IT's just been connected, let me say good afternoon, and thank you all for your kind welcome. It's great to be here, because in not long, I'll be a member of the Alumni Association. So I'm looking forward to joining you officially as a member. I'm not yet a member because I still have an employment contract with Amref, but one day soon, I'll be a member of the Alumni Association. And as I was talking to Isabel and Margaret and others earlier, everybody talks about we. So does anybody ever leave Amref? No. So we will be together into the future forever, because our lives in Amref are so important to who we are and who we will be. And I can see that even today, so you can see it even better as proper members of the Alumni Association. So thank you for your warm welcome. It's great to be here. And as, nothing's happening. I'll keep talking then. But I hope it'll happen quickly, because my standard of jokes is very poor. So I won't be able to keep talking, saying nothing for a long time. You need my password. Yes. Oh, it's not working. There we go. Thank you. That looks a bit better. Nikki asked me if I would say a few words about Amref Health Africa and our new strategy. And the mere fact that I'm using the word new strategy suggests there's an old one that maybe is coming to an end. So let me start by just saying, we wrote a strategy to cover a 5-year period from 2018 to 2022. And so that is coming to an end in about 6 weeks' time. And we've spent a period now thinking about, so what should be happening into the future? Where is Amref going? And what are we going to do as an organization into the future? So this strategy, does it say here in the bottom? Yes, runs from 2023 to 2030. And so I'll just share a few thoughts from that strategy for you today. This is hot off the press, the November update. There you are. And why we needed a new strategy is fundamentally because the world has changed. Even in those 5 years since 2018, the world has changed. So what we did is we looked out, and on the green side of this chart, I set out where we were looking outwards, and then we were looking inwards on the red side of this chart about the things that we needed to learn, the trends that were happening in the world, and how was that impacting on who Amref should be for this next period of 8 years from 2023 to 2030. I pressed the wrong button, sorry, and that's messed it all up. I'm not good at IT. I was never employed because I do the IT. So forgive me. Yeah. I'll press this button now. It's a different one. There we go. You see, it works fine when you do the things you're supposed to do, but I don't always know. So we looked at the things that our strategy should help us with, both inside the organization, in the dark grey colour, and externally. What were the things that we would benefit from this new strategy? And I'm not going to go through this in detail. I'm trying to give you a high-level idea of what we were doing. So we looked at our geographical representation, and on the on the right-hand side, in bold, I just wanted to show that we had 26 pathfinders, so 26 people from all of these countries, and 33 resource people from these countries as well, all contributing to developing the strategy. This was not something that was put together by 2 or 3 senior people with an intention of enforcing the whole organization. You will do this. That was not how we did it. So we had, what does that add to? About 60 people involved in putting together the strategy for the organization for the next 8 years. And these people were not wazee. They were young people who represent the future of the organization. So that, I think, is, I nearly did it again, pressed the wrong button. We're okay. So we had a Pathfinders group, that's I mentioned, and a resources group, and an advisory group, and they did research externally. What's happening out there? They did internal research. What are the issues that are not working within Amref today? Trends research. What's happening to the world as a whole? And then met with other organizations, a range of organizations that would probably surprise you in terms of what are they doing, where do they see things going. So we researched it well, and then we put all of that into a big melting pot, and out of that melting pot, we found alignment. Now, 2030, some of you will probably be thinking, a strategy for 8 years is a very long time, especially if the world is changing so much. But I just wanted to highlight the fact that many of the global factors in the health space are meant to coalesce, to come together in 2030. So there's the Africa Health Strategy that runs to 2030, universal health coverage across the continent by 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals that I hope we all know about run until 2030. So you can see why we wanted a 2030 strategy. But that's quite difficult to put something together that will last for that length of time. We'll have to see how we do. But we're prepared to be flexible during that period to make sure that we are still doing the things that we believe are right for this organization and for the benefit of the continent as a whole. Now, the external context, by the way, I'm not going to talk for long, and we're more than halfway through, for those of you who are thinking, hey, he's going on too long. I just wanted to say a very few further things. The external context, where Amref is today, compared with where Amref was, say, in 2018, or even in Margaret, which years should I be saying? I won't ask. But 19-something, yeah? So, in this chart here, we just set out the 6 important things that we feel are really important in our strategy. And if I start with the one in the black circle, I'm just going to read these out so you know, because I want you all to have heard these things. The one at about 2 o'clock. Urgency to attain universal health coverage. We've mentioned this. Public health security and emerging health threats. And what are the emerging health threats? Have a think about that, because I think we'll come to an answer. Demographic transition, focusing on youth and rapid urbanization. That's what's happening, isn't it, across the continent, across the world. Transformation in data and technology. We've really got to invest in making sure all the information we have as Amref is actually used. Nikki's smiling a lot at me at the moment. For those of you who know her well, you'll know why, okay? So, we know we need to invest, and we've not invested as we should have done in the past, but here you are, Nikki, it's one of the 6 big things in our strategy is about transformation in data and technology. Then going on, conflicts across the world and their impact on health systems, and then finally, maybe a strange one to see in a health organization, climate crisis. But we cannot deny that the climate crisis is having an enormous impact on the health of our populations. And so we are bringing climate into our strategy from 2023 to 2030. It has never been there before. We've had things like hunger and general health and water and sanitation in our strategy, not climate, but that is coming in this time. Now, I'm going to rush through a few of these slides. The most important one is this one, but it's got far too much information on it for you to read. Let me just tell you, we put all of that information together after a long period of research, and then we came up with strategic objectives. So for those of you who can read this, on the left-hand side, we have strategic objectives 1, that's what SO is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So health systems strengthening, human resources, investing in human resources for health, sustainable health financing, health-focused civil society organizations being strengthened, and using innovation across the board. So that was to achieve our strategy number 1, which was about investing in people-centered health systems. On the other side of this slide, our second strategy platform was about targeting the social determinants of health and intersectionality, the way in which health crosses across into education, climate, other issues. And there are 5 strategic objectives, again, about promoting educational initiatives and influence and advocacy, which is going to be an increasing part of what we do, and addressing the challenges of the health and climate change issue, and so on. I'm not going to read all of that out, but you get a sense of where we want to go as Amref over the next 8 years. I couldn't do this without some numbers. Let me tell you that between 2018 and 2022, Amref as an organization, in financial terms, and I know that finance is not everything, but it's a measure of how we might have grown. We have doubled in size in 5 years. We have grown by 18% each year, every year, for 5 years. So the impact that we have as an organization, you would like to think, is at least doubled by spending twice as much, investing twice as much in the communities across, I think it's about 35 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. So that has been hugely successful the last 5 years. We want to be hugely successful again, but maybe we're not quite as ambitious as to suggest we should be growing by 18% per annum for the next 8 years. But if we grow by 10% per annum, then we will double in size again in the next 8 years. And Amref, Little Amref, to those of you who knew this as Little Amref, our aim is that by 2030, we will be an organization of about $500 million, which obviously is huge. And so there'll be lots of things that need to change, and the way in which we are funded maybe has to change as well. But that gives you an idea of our hopes and our aspirations for this new strategy. This is just the timetable, and the little green bar there shows where we're at. In other words, this has been a long process, and we're very nearly at the end. So those were just a few thoughts I wanted to share with you all. Thank you so much for being here and for listening to me. As Prof has already said, I sit on the council of the university. I have many jobs, actually. I only get paid for one of them. but sitting on the council is not one that I get paid for, and nor is being the project director for the development of the new university campus. So we sit here today. I didn't want to show you all my emails, but I did want to show you something else. And that's going to be this. We have board meetings in Zambia in a week's time. And because of all the finance things, I have to write 15 papers for these meetings. I've done 11 and a half. So excuse me if I don't stay till 4 p.m. today, because I'm planning to go and do a few more of those papers so that they're all done in time. But one of the most exciting things is that the former president's family gave Amref 50 acres of land up Thika Road on his Northlands estate, for those of you who know that area, opposite Kenyatta University. So we are about to begin building the Amref International University main campus for the 21st century. And one of the many exciting things about it is what it will offer. Now, I'm just going to show you. This is not a perfect, this is a board paper, so this is really boring. But I wanted to show you a few pictures that, okay, so we've had this area all designed out by an architect. So this is an area of land. We're going to have the big green piece in the middle is an open graduation square. We're going to build a school of medical sciences and public health. We're going to build a big library. We're going to build a student center, conference centers, even one day, we hope, a university hospital on this site, so that this could become the preeminent African health sciences university. We're confined by this space and these buildings, many of which were designed as a headquarters office and an office, not as a university campus. So there's lots to do. And in Zambia, in a week's time, we will be looking for our international board to approve all of what we're looking to do. So that is there a picture of a kind of plan. And there is a bird's eye view of what these buildings might look like. The grass in the front is, as I say, the graduation square. And then for phase one, because we're planning to do this in phases, we can't afford to do it all in one go, the left building, the small one, is a student center. And then the bigger one in the middle, that's the library. And the library is going to be the signature building on this site. So when you walk in through the gate, right across the graduation square, there will be the library that's going to shout back at you about learning and all the messages that we want our students to receive from a building. And then on the right-hand side, that's the building which will have the School of Medical Sciences, the School of Public Health. So again, very exciting to have buildings. I don't know off the top of my head how many students we can accommodate. I think it's about 2,000, Prof. That's right, isn't it? So in these buildings, in phase one, we can accommodate 2,000 students and perhaps 150, 200 members of staff. So this university is going places with the investment that will be made. The access of transport up Thika Road means it's a great location. So very exciting. And then I'll just show you one other picture, which is phases 1 and 2. So you can see we're beginning to fill in. The buildings seem to be a bit bigger. Actually, the student center on the left is now twice the size. The library's the same, but there are buildings added in those gaps to make the schools of medical sciences and public health bigger as well. So we have a real vision for this site, but we also have some practical plans. And all being well, we might even start work on that site in the early part of next year. It'll probably take a long time to build, but we're aiming to have this done and complete within as short a time frame as we can possibly manage. So I know that wasn't on my agenda, but I just wanted to share those pictures with you as well. I hope that was helpful. And Dr. Koki, back to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonathan. I forgot something. On the 25th, so you've seen the strategy for the big organization, Amref, which we are part of. The university also has developed its new strategy, and we will be launching that on the 25th of this month, which is, I think, 2 weeks from now. It will be hybrid, 1 week, yeah. 6 days. Yes, 6 days. So it will be a hybrid launch, and we hope you can come and be with us. But if you are unable to come, please log in and be part of it. In that sitting, we will tell you, out of what Jonathan has presented as the Amref strategy, what is the role of the university. It's well spelled out there. So you are welcome. We hope to see you on Friday. It is on Friday, yes.
Thank you very much. So we are so grateful for those presentations, and maybe I can open this up for any comments before we go to the next session. Maybe some feedback. Would anyone want to have a feedback or any response to what has been shared from the university and from Amref Health Africa? Or can we move on to the next presentation? We can, eh? Okay. So the next one is, we wanted to give a presentation on the member and the guest presentations protocol. Unfortunately, we have a hitch with technology, but the presentation is in the WhatsApp group. Can we all just go to the WhatsApp group? We have shared it. I think the ones who are online will be able to see. It's us here who will have that challenge. Is that correct, IT? Yeah. The member, the PowerPoint, please put up for the ones who are online, but they can access it as well on WhatsApp. Okay. So I will take you through this presentation. And really, it's just to give you an update of where we have been at and what we'd like to do. And then we can discuss at the end. So this is looking at the speakers, the members and the guest speakers quarterly presentation series, and a proposal about support groups, okay? So we have quite a number of alumni members who are involved in voluntary health, social, and community development activities. And the experiences that they are having are very noble, valuable, and worthy of replication. And so this presentation series was set up so that members can get to share with other alumni members, with students from the university, as well as Amref Health Africa staff, the successes, the challenges, and the impact that their involvement is having on the lives of the beneficiaries of the different groups that they are assisting. So we felt that there's a lot that our members are currently doing, and we need to present an opportunity for them to be able to share with the other members and students and Amref Health Africa staff. And so, it's okay? We managed? Oh, perfect, yes. Thank you. Oh, we are sorted. Perfect. Thank you. Now I can start again. I had done some nice things with the PowerPoint. Now I can be able to use them. Okay, so as I had mentioned that what we wanted was to have an opportunity for members to present the kind of work that they are doing and to really share with one another the good work and learn from one another. And so what we also wanted was that members need to also have an opportunity to share their reflections and stories about their time in Amref. And because we all have done a lot while we were in Amref, and there's much we contributed to, and so not being able to capture that was going to be very important. So we wanted that to be an area for people to come and talk about what they did when they were in Amref, whether they were in the community-based health unit, surgical outreach, whatever impact and influence they had while they were here was going to be an opportunity to do so. So, how we have structured the nature of these presentations was, one, we wanted them to be physical sessions, but then also taped, because we do realize that we are scattered. So the opportunity for virtual participation was going to be very important, so we wanted to do that. And then even have an opportunity to record it so that others who are not able to attend at that time can still benefit from it. Then wanted them just limited to about 45 minutes with an opportunity for question and answers. So 1 hour, within 1 hour we have our presentation and we have Q&A. And whatever member wants to do their presentation is actually open to be able to structure it how they would like to do it. Because really what we want to do is to share our information and what we've been doing. Then finally, the venue is going to be here. That's what we said. We want to have them in AMU in the auditorium. And so we actually have a calendar of events. So even as you leave here, please take note that we have a tentative schedule, which is the first Friday of each quarter. And so we have a date for January. We are looking at anticipated date of 7th of April, as well as 7th of July and in October. Of course, these are tentative dates. We'll be able to agree on them, but the thing is we wanted that every quarter we're able to have a member presentation. And just to give you an idea, as mentioned by the chair, we did have 2 presentations over the last 1 year. The first one was on elderly care by Ruth, and we had 60 students from the university who attended, together with 15 members of the alumni. As mentioned, one of the challenges we have is that our participation as members is a bit wanting. You can imagine 60 students and we only had 15 alumni members. This is something that we need to, figure out what can we do better. And as we said, last year was a learning curve. It was the first year. So moving forward, can we see how can we engage better? So that was the first one we had. And in that meeting, we also had Lydia from HelpAge Kenya. And, because we are all growing old, it's an area of importance. And so part of that discussion was to really know about what they've been doing with the vulnerable old people. And an outcome has been forged between the university and HelpAge regarding the geriatric curriculum development and future opportunities. So you can see from our talk, there's been able to be some movement in terms of what can the university do around geriatric curriculum, because it's a need, yeah? It's a growing need, and we have more and more people growing old. We ourselves are in that category, growing older. So this is something that is of use. So this has been a very, very good outcome from that presentation. And so in terms of just trying to get our members more engaged, we were like, okay, let's have a little questionnaire in the WhatsApp group just to find out, because we could be talking about members, please come, give presentations, and maybe they are not interested. So we put up a monkey survey to get the willingness of members, and you can see the majority, yeah, said they would be willing to give a presentation. And those people are us here and the ones who are online. And so we want to just encourage you to take up this opportunity. You confirmed to us that you have a lot to share. sharing from your past time in Amref and even what you're doing now. So from this, we are sure and we are certain that there's a pool, there's a wealth of information that is ready to be shared with all of us. And so please, let us participate. And so to do so, we need and are requesting people to indicate their willingness to present, yeah? And it's open. So if you have any activity you want to share with us, any issue that you want to discuss, we have our chairperson, that's Pamela Rasugu. She's the chairperson of the Networking and Social Events Subcommittee. She's the one that you can get in touch with and say, hey, Pam, I'm thinking of this presentation, I'm doing this good work, and you'll be able to schedule that. Okay, and so what we want is to really have dynamic sessions and really an informative way for us to come together, interact on the various health, social, and community development issues, and how working with Amref has really impacted and continues to impact our lives. Because I'm sure wherever we are, the things we started doing in Amref, we are still carrying them on in one way or another, and they're helping us to do even better where we are. So we want this to be informative, also for the students of the university. Professor has mentioned the way he really wants his students to benefit from the wealth of experience of members. So this is one opportunity for them to be able to do so. And even for the existing staff of Amref Health Africa, you know, there's a lot of history in this room that can benefit them even as they move forward. So we want this to be an opportunity of looking back, building from what you have done, you know, moving forward, moving with the times, and basically using everyone's collective experience and expertise to really continue to serve the vulnerable people in Africa. And so we look forward to you as a member to give us a presentation. Remember, we said the topics are open, so it's you really to decide what you'd like to share on, okay? So you are very, very welcome. Now, apart from the members having presentations, we also thought it would be good to have guest speakers, because we know there's a lot out there that we are not, you know, the masters of, or we don't have much experience, but are of use to us. So we wanted as members to stay abreast of, you know, the developments in the field, new issues, you know, continue to build up our experience, continue to build up our capacity in various issues. So we wanted to do this, have guest speakers who can come to speak to us as Amref Alumni members, come to also speak to the students, because the students would also want to get new information on various matters, as well as the staff of Amref Health Africa. And so we want to have this done. We have a speaker series that has been planned. Again, we have a tentative calendar in place, which is going to be the first Friday of February, and thereafter every quarter. So we want to have it on, the first one will be the 3rd of February 2023, the next one will be 5th of May 2023, 4th of August 2023, and 3rd November 2023. So you've seen we've tried to sort of like organize ourselves. Of course, the dates are tentative right now, but the fact is we want to have this structure so that we can all purpose, you know, mark this in our diaries as we and plan to attend. Whether in person or online, we'll be able to facilitate that. But we would like you not to miss hearing from all these wonderful guest speakers that we have planned for. So again, mentioned, there'll be physical sessions, but also taped, similar to what we'll be doing for the member sessions, for 45 minutes, with 15 minutes for Q&A. And so the initial guest speaker presentation that we had this year was given by Rosemary Gathara, who is the executive director of Basic Needs here in Kenya, and she talked about mental health and well-being on campus. I think mental health is a big thing for everyone right now. We've all gone through a very difficult time with COVID, and so it's something that is so relevant and so timely to our needs. And so this was very well received by the members of Amref Alumni, the students who attended, as well as the management of AMU. And so some of the key points that came from this is that there's really a lot of urgency in dealing with mental health interventions at universities, especially our own university here. and that it is possible to have an integrated and a cost-effective and a sustainable mental health system embedded into the educational environment. But you need to be very deliberate about it. It needs to be intentional. So here's an opportunity for us as alumni to contribute to see how can we support the mental health and well-being of our students. And so we were told that there are various ways that this can be done. You can have the support to the university students, which can't be easily found anywhere, so you structure it so that there's support for them within the system. And then, of course, you strengthen the support to the university staff, and then engage staff at all levels to deliver mental health first aid. You know, we were used to first aid of wounds and things like that, injuries, but you also have mental health first aid. So that also is one of the ways that you can be able to do it. So it has really been a very exciting thing to do, and there is the opportunity to be able to really work with the university here and support better mental health and well-being for our students. And so there is the impact of that partnership with the basic needs Kenya is that there's now going to be the training of peer counselors, and they're going to give personnel so that we can have some peer counselors trained, and we'll have the university identify some students to receive this training, and they will get certification for this. We'll also have the teaching and the non-teaching staff sensitized on basic counseling skills, and also just being able to see how else can we link up the university with other providers and other people who can provide counseling, because counseling really is the entry point to being able to support mental well-being. We don't have to wait for things to be so thick and people to get into so much difficulty. If you can right from the beginning have structures that support basic counseling and free counseling for our students so that they can reach out as they need. And then also to look at research in mental health. Yeah, we see how can we conduct joint research between the university and basic needs, and see are there opportunities that we can respond to. So when we, after this guest speaker series, and it generated a lot of interest and you could see there's impact, we were able to say, okay, so what else would be of interest to our members? So we had a survey, again on WhatsApp, asking people what topics would be of interest. And you can see there that there were various topics of interest. We have staff interested, members interested in the current trends, the projections for both communicable and non-communicable diseases in Kenya. We want to learn more about that. We also are looking at mental health and substance abuse. Cancer, prevention, screening, diagnosis, treatment is of interest to members. Achievements and challenges and the impact of county-led health services. I know with devolution, there's a lot that changed in the health space, and we want to see how is that going on at county level. So there is interest from our members to know more about that. KEMRI research agenda. KEMRI is the leading institution in terms of research here in Kenya, under the ministry, working with all the other partners. So people would like to know more about what KEMRI is doing, and then we can also see how we could plug in, to KEMRI's agenda, see the research also that's been done at Amref Health Africa, AMU, and all the other places. And then also to know the state of play and the strength of the health and social development of CSOs in Kenya, civil society organizations. This is where the, right at community level, what is happening. And then we had an opportunity for people to suggest what other topics would be of interest. And so some of the other topics that came about are plans of drought, farming prevention. We can see Amref, climate is going to be one of their key things in the strategy, and it all falls around that because we need to figure out how are we going to address the whole issue of climate change and famine and drought. And then there's also accessing healthcare through health insurance, devolution of health, how has that affected effective service delivery, GMOs, and as well just priority national research agendas. It's important for us to know what are the priority researches in this country, even as we try to continue to be participants and to contribute to developing and strengthening the health system in this country in the various places that we are at right now. And so, if you have any other topics, potential topics. That is not limited. We did the survey. I know some of you participated in the survey, others did not, but we still have the opportunity to hear from you. So if you have any other topics that you think, we would love to have a guest speaker come to talk to us about this particular topic, again, inform our chair, Pam, and she'll be able to take note of that, and we can look for these guest speakers. If you know them, you can introduce them to us, and we'll be able to follow up and plan on it. And for the AMU students as well, they would liaise with Betty, and the Amref Health Africa staff to liaise with Lolem Gong in submitting potential topics. So we really want to get these topics and start to look for people who can come and speak to us about this, because this is also how we grow and get to know more and continue to be to contribute actively to the health sector in this country. So finally, support groups. Remember when we started talking about the association, we felt like, okay, apart from all these other things, we also want to support one another. And so as the association has continued to just, go through the first year and start thinking about how do we support one another? How do we get better at working together, helping one another in various things? We thought that support groups would be a good way to go. And support groups provide invaluable assistance to individuals, family members, caregivers who are involved in various challenging health issues. You may be the patient yourself, a loved one could be the patient, or whatever it is that they are going through, whatever challenging condition. Being in a support group is really, really helpful. And so the main objective of these support groups is really to give that forum for patients and their caregivers to get assistance, be it in knowledge, be it in skills, be it in just, mental support, psychosocial support, just to help you as you go through whatever challenging situation that you're going through. And the other objective is also to continue to raise awareness, give you more information, because when you're dealing with various issues, there's so much information out there. You might not have the latest that would help you. So through the support group, you're able to get more health information. You're able to know where can I get maybe better health services, where can I go for this particular thing to help my patient or even help me as myself. So support groups basically are very useful. And what we want to do is have support groups in two main areas. That's for cancer and mental health. We thought that those would be the ones we would start with. And so the networking and social events subcommittee has really thought through this and said, looking at the needs that are there, those are the two. And for the mental health would also include alcohol and substance abuse. So it's not just going to be mental health only, but alcohol and substance abuse. And these support groups are open to the Amref alumni members, AMU students, and staff of Amref Health Africa, and their family members. So if you have anyone in this category who may be a cancer patient, a cancer survivor, a caregiver, you may have a patient or a loved one or yourself struggling with any mental health issues, you're open, to join these support groups. And the initial thinking is that they will meet monthly, and the venue would be here. We are yet to confirm that, but I believe we shall be approved. The university is very, very generous. And so we are proposing that, 2 hours between 10 a.m. and 12 on an agreed upon date, once a month, they'll be able to come and meet here. And so as we get started, the committee will help with organizing and facilitating these meetings. And then as the support groups pick up, they'll be able to do this on their own. So for the support groups, the members will have the opportunity to share with one another about their journey, provide moral support. There'll be information shared on topics of relevance, because as we said, we want these support groups to be useful. So anything around prevention, screening, any treatment, any new information that can basically help make life easier for the members will be focused on. So that will be what will be there. We'll have resource people invited to support to brief and be part of the support group and share information. And so this will also link very closely with the social welfare subcommittee, because there'll be areas obviously on convergence and mutual concern. So we'll be able to see how this support group and the welfare work together. So, if you are interested in participating in these support groups, again, please, our chair, Pam, is here. She'll be able to take your name down. We are still trying to work out the logistics, but you can see the plan is there. And the plan will only take place when people show up. And so please register for the group, whichever group you're in. If you need more clarification, more questions, please reach out to us. We will co-create this together and make sure that the support groups meet our needs. So feel free to give us your feedback. We have not, it's not cast in stone. If there are any other things we can, ways we can make it better, we are looking forward to your input. But basically what we want to do is to have this association help meet some of the needs. And this is one of the ways that we'll be able to do so. And as other emerging needs come, we will do so. But for a start, those are the two. And so we really hope that you'll take this up and we can get started. And we walk this journey together, support one another, and basically, help, because we know in life there are many challenges. But when you work together, a problem shared is half solved. So that's what we are looking forward to. And so I think that is my last slide. Yes, it is. So that's what we wanted to share and really encourage. Please participate, because without you participating, then we really will not be able to make much progress. Thank you very much. So I don't know if we have any feedback, any maybe questions before we go to the last presentation on the welfare. Do you have any query, or we are okay? We are good to go? Yes. I don't know, do you have another mic?
Just a quick question. Both groups, would they be meeting together, or is it going to be separate?
Sorry, they are separate. They will run separate programs. It's just that there are two. So once we have the list, whoever is interested in the cancer support group and the mental health support group, then we'll be able to have a program and everybody will run. So yeah, they'll have their schedule. Thank you. Any other question? I don't know if the people online. Oh, okay, they can ask? Okay. Can they ask? No, they can't. But they can comment. Okay. Okay. So if you're online, please, if you have any question, please just put it in the comment section. Then we'll be able to pick it up and answer the question. But for you who are here, any other question, or we are good? Can we move on to the next presentation? Okay. Now, the final one is about welfare. That one has been a big one. So I'd like to invite Violet to come and give us the brief on welfare, and then we can move forward from there. Karibu.
You know, I have an inborn mic, but let me use it since I've been given. Yes. So with social welfare, my duty right now is actually very simple, because a lot of it has been shared on that slide. But the major pressing issue is the registration and contribution of membership fee and registration into the last expenses insurance we had talked about. I know there are some members who were not here when we started this, but we had discussed and agreed that medical insurance is very expensive, but it will be in order if people can first take up the last expenses as per their request. The last expenses was then shared we approached various insurance companies, and we settled with one. We shared what was there. The slides, if you check in your WhatsApp and email, you will find them. So I didn't see the need of putting them up here again. But in short, the insurance cover was to cater for spouse and partner, and then parents-in-law of both spouse and partner,